Hello, this is the math recap for today, Wednesday, September 9th. So I'm going to show you very quickly the teacher edition. This is something that the students entirely did on their own. So this was the independent work from yesterday. So they learned about greatest common factor, which I provided them with videos and illustrations, and they even had notes that I gave them ahead of time talking about greatest common factor. And so what they worked on today, or what we went over today, was really the homework part. This was all just on their own work that they did, practicing the distributive property, practicing taking greatest common factor and turning it into an equation. All of this was on their own. Then what we did today specifically is we focused on the answer key. So we went over the answers. I modeled how we solve these problems specifically so that when we got to problems like these, the word problems that are not as easy to compute, that the students would understand how to solve them, and also to make sure they understand exactly what they are looking for when we ask them to write the sum of numbers as a product of their GCF and another sum. I know that sounds like a mouthful, but it's just logically figuring out what is the greatest common factor, and then what times 8 gives you 56, what times 8 gives you 64, and then adding those numbers together to show it really means 8 times 15. That's the same thing as the greatest common factor as a product. So we practiced that really, really explicitly so that they would feel comfortable. I had every student share their thinking so that they felt really good about it. We then went over some of the hot questions that are very tricky and very difficult. I have this up here for you so that if a student wasn't able to make sure that they had all their answers written down, they can come back to this video so that they can check their homework. Okay, so the next activity that they were to work on, let's get out of this for a moment here. The next activity for them to work on today independently was least common multiple. And so for least common multiple, we were looking at a triathlon, or I should say a biathlon, and we were looking at swimming on every 6th day and bicycling on every 8th day to see on which day would both of those be at the same time. And so that's kind of working on least common multiples, listing out multiples, then looking at those two lists and looking for the lowest possible number that matches on both of those lists. So this is the answer key for the practice that the students had to do on their own. They only had to complete these 2 pages. So I'm going to leave this up here for a few more seconds, just so that if you want to pause this video, you can, to make sure that your work was done correctly. Then the next thing that they had to do is that the students had to start working on homework. And so again, the homework is 20 problems. I've asked them to either complete the even numbered problems or the odd number problems. So the students can decide which one they do, and then tomorrow when we meet, we will go over this work. Now this will be the sum of everything. Tomorrow is just going to be a review of greatest common factor and least common multiple. By Friday, the students are going to take their first 6th grade quiz so that they can then be tested on greatest common factor and least common multiple. So that will happen on Friday. If they finish early, we'll play a game together, but there will be no homework on Friday. So I just wanted you to kind of see the future of where we're going this week, specifically in math. That is the recap for 6th grade. In 5th grade math, it was a little different because in 5th grade, they're focusing on place value. I had the students complete these practice pages starting on page 3. They worked on pages 4 and 5, getting additional practice. And then on page 6 is kind of just digging in deeper and giving them more real world problem solving so that they're applying this now into a broader context. We then went over the homework today. So we went over the homework for 1.1. I had students giving answers as well as I was modeling how you can explain specifically the place value relationships. And so the biggest takeaway that I want the students to really understand, and I really can't say this enough, is that if we're talking about a number 900 compared to a number like 9,000, when we specifically look at a number like that, the place value of the 9 has moved over to the left. And when it has moved over to the left, we say that that is 10 times greater because 1,000 is 10 times greater than 100. And so that's really important for the students to understand. Another thing to keep in mind is if I'm comparing a number like 800 and I'm comparing it to 80, the place value is actually moving the opposite direction. It's moving right, which means the number is getting smaller. In fact, you could say that the number is getting 10 times smaller. And how I would show that is by showing the opposite of multiplication. I would show division. It's going to be divided by 10. So that was an important concept that the students needed to understand that we went over and I modeled for them in some of the activities. So let's go back to that page. So we worked on 1.1. We then looked at some of the trickier problems at the bottom. And again, I want to just point some of those trickier ones out. So for example, the problem says 800 is 1/10 of what number? And I explained to them that that is there on purpose to see if you are really paying attention, because some people are not going to pay attention and they're not going to get that question correct. So if I were to ask you 800 is 1/10 of what number, 800 is already the smaller number. It's the smaller number of what though? So I'm kind of working backwards. If I know that this is 800 and this is 1/10, then I'm going to be moving it over to the left to make it larger. So this number I'm actually going to be answering is 8,000. So 800 is 1/10 of 8,000. And let's just check that to be sure. If I write it underneath here, it is over here by 1, which means it would be divided by 10. And 8,000 divided by 10 gives me 800. So I really wanted the students to understand that the questions can be tricky, but if you understand the left and right means left getting larger and right getting smaller, that is the key piece of information that they need to hold on to, and it's going to help them to make sure they master all this content. Okay, so coming back to the book here, we went over again page 7. We also went over page 8. The page 8, the one with the chart, was such a good problem. It was excellent, and it gave us a lot to talk about. We also looked at a pattern because good mathematicians find patterns. And when we talk about a pattern, that's a pattern at the beginning of the video when I explained to you moving to the left gives it 10 times greater, moving to the right gives you 10 times less, or dividing by 10. So that's a pattern right there. Once we were done going over the homework, I then explained to them what they needed to do for on their own work. They were completing not this page. We said this is not important. Instead, what was important was for them to complete page 10 and page 11 and page 12. Those are the pages that have practice problems in them. Practice problems that they need to solve. And then once they were finished, their homework was going to be pages 1.2 to 1. Or the next side of it, the back of it. So our homework was pages 13 and pages 14. Now, what I do not have readily available is the answer key for their practice work, but I will make another video of that so they can go back and check their work. All right, thank you for watching this math recap video from Wednesday, September 9th.